Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a super interesting knife review slash knife overview to show you guys. This is the Ketuo Bratva. I'll let you guys take a look here at the box. So, designer Felix Denishwara. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced your name there, sir. This has a mirror polished blade. Holy crap. It's not a joke. This is a real, truly mirror polished knife. Now, it has a standard version. It's got a couple standard versions that are not mirror polished, and I think the price is completely reasonable. But the fact that the mirror polished one is $350, which is a lot of money for a pocket knife. But if you compare it to other full-size, full titanium, high-end, we're talking Chinese production knives, but if you're comparing it, within those parameters, that is ridiculously inexpensive. It's got to be one of the least expensive full-size premium mirror polished blades, M390 by the way, that I've ever seen. Even if, because I have a feeling that this is, either if it's not sold out now, it'll be sold out probably pretty soon. I'll have it linked in the description. You can go check, right? It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. The implication here is that they can do this. If they can do it on this knife, they can do it on pretty much anything. Let me say this right at the beginning. Please, guys, please offer this as an option. They're charging $85 more for the mirror polishing on this. That's ridiculous. That's awesome. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people are like, I'd be afraid to use it. Oh, it's going to scratch. I'm not paying that much to make it shiny. Yeah, fine, whatever. Choose the one that's good for you. For everybody else who wants it, I think a lot of people would be more than fine with an $85 upcharge, right? This is an expensive process. Doing this by hand, I think most likely what we're looking at here is that they have found a way to do a lot of the work by machine, maybe not all of it, but a lot of the work by machine, and it has made the process of mirror polishing, in this case, an M390 blade, not only faster, but less expensive, right? It's obviously incredibly time-consuming to do this to a blade by hand, but if you can do some or all of the process by machine, then sure. And if that's the case, and it's translating, into in the price tag, we're not having to pay nearly as much for somebody to do it by hand, which is still cool if you're into custom knives and stuff. Yeah, this is very cool. Please do this on future stuff. That would be awesome. Thanks so much to Ketuo for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's go ahead and measure this knife here real quick. It would be handy for measure. There it is. Overall length of the Bratva, not a small knife. This is 8.75 inches. Blade length is 3.85. Cutting edge is about a little over 3.5. It has very Shirogorov ratios. Let's go ahead and do a size comparison. Any custom scales in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and Others. So up against the 8010 and my own Excalibur, you can see here, it's not a small knife. It's not a massive knife. Definitely on the bigger side, above full size for sure. Approaching XL. I say anything 9 inches or more is XL. Giggity. Let's go ahead and, whoops-a-daisy, box fell off my desk. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3, bigger than both. And then finally, let's put it up against the bench-made Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca. How is the action on this knife? You have a few different means of deployment. By the way, it is a liner lock. This is a steel liner lock, which is fine. Would have been cool to see, titanium with a steel lock bar insert, but this is plenty cool. Pretty stiff. There's a lot of tension on that lock bar, but because of the axis here, they've made it pretty easy to disengage. No double clutch. Extremely smooth. Now, we have a flipper. We have a front flipper, which works very well. And then you have the little thumb disc ledge kind of thing, which is okay. Then we have this fuller, which is accessible, and you can do a reverse flick. It's pretty hard to get the correct amount of leverage there. Not my favorite way of deploying it. I'm wiping my fingerprints off of it, which is truly the downside of it. Everybody's afraid of scratching it. Let me tell you something. You put a mark on a mirror finish, the finish is so freaking shiny. It's not immediately something that stands out. A scratch on a mirror. I mean, I carry fairly regularly a Rockstead Higo 2 in mirror polish ZDP. Now, it's a lot harder blade, but I do have marks on it. I got marks all over that thing. I've scratched it up. The mirror polish is still so prominent that I forget that the scratches are even there. When I polish the blade up, I really have to look close. A scratch isn't going to look like some kid came up with a red paintbrush, and drug it across the front. No. And it also doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A little mark on a mirror finish, you're going to carry the knife, right? If you're going to, so that it's weird logic, honestly. The standard version, if you plan to use it, will also get scratches. And if you're not worried about scratches on that version, I don't know why anybody would be worried about scratches on a mirror polish knife, but I think it's kind of a knee-jerk response, so that's whatever. You think what you want. That's the nice thing about having options, right? But the true downside of a mirror polished blade is the fact that it picks up fingerprints, which are far more prominent on a mirror polish than a small scratch. You will feel compelled to wipe it off every single time. Every single time. And it's just annoying, right? But that's it. There's no, functionally, it's actually, it reduces drag. And it also, this is kind of debated. I have always, been leaning towards the side of mirror polishing increasing corrosion resistance. And here are the two sides of the argument. I say, people who think like me say, well, mirror polishing increases corrosion resistance because the surface is so smooth, there's no way for it to trap moisture. And other people will say, well, because those little micro pockets are not present to trap moisture, they are also not present to trap oil, like a protective oil. And this makes them more prone to corrosion. I think this is circumstantial. I think in the case of a camp knife, for example, if you have a camp knife made out of 1095, right? And it has a bead blasted finish. If you're regularly oiling it, I think maybe those micro pockets would actually assist. But then again, you're still exposing it to more moisture that can get trapped there, assuming you're going to be using it in a wide variety of environments that would involve moisture, right? 1095 is not a stainless steel by a long shot. If you were to take a mirror polished 1095 blade out into the forest and use it, in that situation, maybe it would accelerate corrosion resistance. In the case of a pocket knife, utilizing, in this case, M390 steel, right? Just standard pocket knife being used for standard things. I think we're kind of looking at the same teeter-totter technically, but M390 is already extremely stainless. And then removing, any ability for moisture to get trapped on the surface. I think it's just insanely unlikely that it's going to. I think this actually improves corrosion resistance. But I think it's circumstantial and it involves the environment. I think ultimately the best course of action is just to come up with a schedule to add some oil to your knife and do it regularly. If it's whether it's mirror polish or not, you want to rub it all the way in there, let it sit for just a second, and then wipe it off. You should be just fine. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. It's kind of an interesting. Somebody brought that up in the comments the other day and said, "Well, that's technically true, right?" So I don't know. Tell me what you think. But anyways, action very good. Good detent, good pivot action, incredibly smooth on the bearings. I mean, really, I can just barely feel that there's bearings in there. It's just really nice. The knife feels extremely premium. This is another yellow shirt day, guys. You can bet that I recorded a bunch of different reviews on the same day, right? You can, if it looks like I'm wearing the same shirt as a review that you saw a few days ago, they were probably recorded on the same day. So this is the yellow shirt review day. Anyways, let's go ahead and do carry profile. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's pretty thick. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. This is not, in terms of like the silhouette here. It's about the same, maybe a little bit longer than PM2, not quite as tall. It's just quite a bit thicker in the body. Let's go ahead and weigh it. What are we looking at for materials? We are looking at 60 plus HRC M390. I think they are like 60 to 62, I believe. We have titanium, curiously thick titanium scales. Kind of neat though. It really does kind of, ooh, like in hand, it's like, ooh, wow, meaty boy. And we have the carbon fiber here. I think you have a couple different options for carbon fiber. Kind of a bronzy pivot, the bronze kind of on the little, the deployment tab here, and then same with the backspacer, which is full, and same with the pocket clip. Honestly, color combos in this case, I think look pretty good. Let's go ahead and weigh it. It's pretty meaty. I bet this is going to be 5+. Almost. Yeah, 6 is actually 6 ounces. A lot of titanium. Curiously thick titanium. The handle is a lot more meaty and bulbous than the blade. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, and then you have, not only thick titanium, it's milled out. We also have the steel liner. So yeah, it's a fairly heavy knife. Pretty heavy knife, honestly. But it'll just depend on what you're used to carrying and what your preferences are. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. This is a T8 for the pivot. It's also a T8 for the body screws. We have a hidden screw for the pocket clip, and then T8 on the other side. Super duper simple. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness here real quick, and then we'll move on into the meat and potatoes here. There we go. I'm going to guess this is 145 to 150. Oh, it's 155. Okay. 155 thousandths. Meat and potatoes time. This is a cool knife. It's also kind of a weird knife. The long trailing point blade, honestly, looks a little bit, it looks like it narrows up in an awkward way versus the big, chunky, meaty handle. But everything that's happening here, like is the thickness of the handle and like the contrast of the different colors and the, the beveling and just the extra work in the backspacer, and then of course, obviously the mirror polish blade. The whole presence of this knife, it just feels extremely high quality. Like I got this out of the box for the first time, and Ketuo makes a nice knife. All of their knives feel pretty good. This feels like something different. This feels like a special project. It just feels like extra effort. So I think a good example of what I'm talking about. Anybody who's ever handled a Wii knife, like a nice Wii knife, those are really cool knives. Now, obviously, they have their different tiers as well. They have knives that feel kind of lower effort and knives that feel higher effort. But they are knives that are manufactured in China, and their manufacturing processes, abilities, the materials that they use is not really different than anything that like CKF is capable of. Custom Knife Factory, who is their OEM is Kevin John. I'm pretty sure that's public now. I think I'm allowed to say, I don't know why I wouldn't be allowed to say that. Yeah, Kevin John. However, CKF knives always feel like they're from another universe. They're manufacturing knives in China. They're using the same blade materials, right? They have access to all the same materials, all the same processes, all of that, the same level of execution. For one reason or another, Custom Knife Factory knives feel different. And they've figured that out, and they charge us for it. They charge me for it, and I go ahead and I pay for it. I say, yes, please. That's too much money. I'll take it. We do that. That's what this feels like. It feels different. It's really, really nice. Ergonomically, pretty happy with this. No super abrupt edges. I can feel the pocket clip. It's not a hot spot. Honestly, the extra meat in the handle really gives you that sense of security, like you're not going to drop it. It feels good. Jimping, functional, and extends out to a point that complements the index finger position right here. This is a nice choke up spot. Feels good. Awesome. Blade on its own. Really, really nice. I like how it looks. There's me and my nostrils. I'm sure that's a really great, I'm sure that looks awesome. So yay for mirror polished knives. The blade itself looks good. It looks a little bit dainty versus the handle. Kind of wish that if they had done this big long clip, honestly, I kind of wish the whole blade shape was different. I wish that they had carried this same width out further and then turned it into more of a, just like more of a spade drop point or something like that. Which is fine. It's not like I'm limited to just this knife. I think that this knife implies that we're going to be seeing a lot more mirror polishing from Ketuo and Forever Steel and Reich and all of those companies that are sort of laced together in some weird web. But yeah, I think that that's what we're going to see, right? Some people might look at this and go, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it looks really, really great. And that's fine. The polishing extends all the way into the little fuller here. It's nice up on top of the spine. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Behind the edge, I would say it's kind of medium, right? It's not really overly thick or thin. It's definitely not thin, but it does cut and slice and do all of the things that you would expect a modern pocket knife to do. The pivot looks awesome. I think that's a really nice touch versus just doing like, just a regular pivot head, just like flat with a Torx or whatever. I think it looks nice. It's a nice little touch. It says Ketuo right here, and then I have to imagine maybe that's Felix's logo right there. The carbon fiber inlays look good. I don't mention this enough, but whenever we don't see screws, it implies that they're held in there with some sort of adhesive. Sometimes that adhesive lasts for 50 years. Sometimes it lasts for 50 days, I've never had a knife where the inlay popped out that wasn't screwed in, right? But it can definitely happen. So, I don't know why I'm choosing this knife to talk about that, but that is the case. A lot of people go, I don't really care. I don't want to see a screw. Other people say, I need the screw because I don't want the thing to pop out. Everybody thinks different. What I do appreciate is that they did these inlays on both sides. They didn't leave this side blank. A lot of companies do that. I don't know why, but I'm glad that they did not do that in this case. Backspacer does have a little lanyard loop, so that's nice. Pocket clip, medium tension, titanium, looks good. Carry depth about right here, just fine. Is there anything else really? No, there's not. There's a long fuller all the way through the backspacer. It looks really, really good. I like that. Your lockup, I hate putting my fingers back on this. We're going to use this microfiber cloth. No blade play, up, down, left to right, incredibly solid. There is a little tiny bit of lock stick, but I think that'll go away. Your stop pin is located right here. Lots and lots of shouldering on that stop pin. Very smooth and consistent. Nice click into the closed position and absolutely dead center with no pivot lash. This is an awesome knife. The base price of the Bratva, which by the way is still incredibly impressive, still has all of the impressiveness. I'm not just, completely bedazzled by the mirror polished blade and then I'm fluffing the rest of it because I love mirror polished blade so much. No, I really mean everything I'm saying about the rest of the knife. It really does feel like extra. The standard Bratva is $265, and I think that's fine. This is a great knife. At $260, if we made this knife, they would charge $100 more for no reason. I love Wee knives, but I don't know what's going on with their pricing, right? Yeah, $265, not mad about that. The most impressive variation is the mirror polished one. $350 for the mirror polishing. That's crazy. If you don't like big, long knives, you don't like knives that have, because, honestly, the balance, we didn't talk about that because there's so much meat in the handle. The balance is not as far back as I thought, but it's back here, right? Really in hand, feels really good, but if you don't like bigger knives or knives with chunkier handles, right? If you don't like long trailing point blades, this isn't going to be for you. If you don't like expensive knives, well, I don't know what you're doing here. This isn't going to be for you. I got a playlist called Cheap Knives I Like. 300 uploads of knives under $75. So you got more than enough there to keep you busy. You don't have to bother with this stuff. But for those of you shopping in this territory, is this a good buy? Oh my God, yeah. This is awesome. Makes me want to see what they're going to do in the future. I have a feeling we're going to see some pretty awesome stuff. So, I think Ketuo needs their own. They need to do their own locking system. Develop something or use something where a patent has recently ended, like the compression lock. Liner locks and frame locks are fine. Mix it up a little bit. Spice it up because you guys have the ability to really, really hit a grand slam. You've got all the tools. You have the ability. You can do the super cool finishes. You just need to bring it on home with a new locking system. But these are fine. There's nothing wrong with a liner lock. That's going to be it today, guys. It's going to go in my recommended knives section, specifically for the groups of people that I am recommending it to. This is not an everybody knife. This is if you have climbed the ladder and you're bored with whatever price point you're looking or shopping in this price range, right? $250 to $350. For these people, yes, this is absolutely a knife that I would recommend to you, especially if you like larger knives. So it'll go in that playlist. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have Lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.